What's up? Jonas and Felix here, and we just arrived in Berlin. And there's a lot of stuff that we're going to do this week. Today we are back at Riverside Studios, where already a couple of weeks ago we visited Tobi Neumann in his studio, where we had a little studio tour of all of his gear, except for his huge Oora system, which a lot of you guys kept asking about. So today we're back to have a little tour of his entire ginormous Oora system. Also at Riverside Studios, we're going to visit Oora, who's going to do a little live performance for us. Tomorrow we're going to shoot some more artist features that we're not going to spoil yet. And lastly, we're headed to Superbooth, which as usual has a lot of exciting announcements, some of which we already heard and some of which are going to be new to us as well. So let's go.
Hi there, I'm Federico, aka Oora. Thanks for visiting me at my Riverside studio. I'm gonna explain to you what I just did in this jam. So today I used the analog 4 from Electron as my master clock. Everything is connected to it, and this one is sequenced internally, its own sound, and the Performer MK2. I'm controlling it with the PC12 because I wanted to have access to all the filter and envelope in an easy way without doing any menu diving. Then I have the Octatrack that plays some sample and some effects. And the analog 4 goes into the Godfather, that is a 4-channel delay, reverb, mixer, filter, does a lot of stuff and create all of this nice texture and ambient kind of sound. And the Performer goes straight into the board. Here I have the rhythm, which does its own thing with some glitchy sound, and the kick. The 303, the Avalon, it's a 303 clone. And then the last two pieces is the Udo Super 6 that do the drone low bass note, and the Erica synth that adds some percussion to the entire thing. Actually, this guy goes into the Model 1 mixer and then into this other board, so I use this as a sub mix.
Hi, this is Tobi Neumann again from the Apollo studio. Because of many of you were requesting a special about my modular, Here we go. I'm here in my studio. As you can see, a crazy collector of synthesizers, outboard gear, mixing desks and modular. And today I want to introduce you to this big boy here. Wanted to tell my friend Ono Oeser and myself were visiting Ricardo Villalobos in his studio around 2007, I think. And I already recognized before that the modular was kind of getting more and more popular. But I was always proud of that I was not going into that, because at the end the music has to be made with this or without it. But after being at charming Ricardo's and let him show us his modular, we started to also invest. We went to Schneider, which was back in those days at the Alexanderplatz, and I think I bought my first case here, such a Döpfer case, and started with the first modules.
All right, day 2 for us here in Berlin. Today we're going to visit 2 more artists, first of which is going to be Stefan Goldmann. We're headed to his studio right now, and I think he's a super interesting artist, been following his work for a while, and he really combines a huge technical proficiency with a great artistic sophistication in a way that few people do to that degree. So super excited to see what he's working on right now. And afterwards, where are we headed?
Afterwards, we are going to visit Cromby, who is producing kind of house, techno, let's say club, tool, hybrid music. And I discovered him on his release Twisted Future on Records, which I really enjoyed listening and playing. So I'm really curious to check out his studio.
Hi, I'm Stefan Goldmann. This is my studio, and I'll give you a quick walkthrough of what I have here. And typically, on most of the music I make, I'll use synthesizers or electroacoustic instruments such as those two to generate sounds. So in the sound generation stage, I'll typically just connect a sequencer or some other triggering device to one of the synth I have here, and just play around and record like really long sessions, like half an hour, whatever it takes, and later I'll cut them. So that's actually how I began doing music, was mostly working with samples. So my approach to synthesis is kind of looking at it as a sample source, as something where eventually you just find a part that works, but in generating the material, a lot of recording goes on. So typically those instruments would be hooked to a hardware recorder, so I don't even have to switch on the computer to do any of that. I'll have some effects to process stuff. I really like working with delays and reverbs and distortion a lot. So that's typically the start of the production. Later on, all the parts go into Ableton, into the computer, where it's being cut and arranged, and ultimately it gets played back out through this desk, which apparently not that many people use this particular one, but I'm quite fond of it because it has a small footprint. It fits in here, but it has a lot of routing. You have like 8 aux sends, 8 buses you can assign stuff to, and that allows me to send stuff back out into EQs, filters, distortion. I have like those guitar distortion pedals, for instance, hooked up to it. I'll show you later how that works in practice. And typically I'll have a lot of reverbs. I'm kind of a reverb junkie that come into play in mixdown. So individual tracks can get patched into any of those EQs, filters, compressors you see here, and it all comes back together in the mix.
Hi, this is Cromby. Welcome to my studio. I'm going to take a bit of time today and show you around. Yeah, I'll start off with my MPC. Yeah, I really love this machine. It was one of the first things I got. It features heavily on all my tracks near enough, yeah. It's just a workhorse, sounds great, amazing swing. Yeah, it's a really fun machine. You can really play about with like the groove of it. There's a note repeat. So you can really just sort of tap in percussion really easily with holding in that. There's a swing, so for example, I can give you like a hat. And just to like experiment with it, the timing. So that's on 53%. You can go crazy, get some real kind of jacking stuff as you crank up the swing. Yeah, it's just really basic, to be honest, but the parameters are good. There's a filter on it, attack and decay for the sounds. You can dirty sounds up. Yeah, it's a workhorse, I love it. Yeah, so eventually I want to start performing with the Octatrack alongside the Digitrack, some kind of live sense, so it gives you loads of flexibility.
All right, it's day 3 for us here in Berlin, and we just arrived at Superbooth. Loads of exciting stuff waiting for us. I think one of my personal highlights that I'm excited to check out is the Udo Super Gemini, which is sort of like a CS80 type polyphonic synth, but with I think 20 analog voices, and it's basically the Super 6, which was already amazing, ×2 plus some additional features and tweaks. And what else is there? The Electron, I saw, announced a new version of the analog keyed that now also includes additional FX, except from just the various distortion circuits. How about you?
Yeah, of course, I'm really interested in the Udo as well. But in general, I'm a little bit into modular, so I'm definitely going to check out Make Noise, which is a little kind of secret, and I'm really curious what they're going to present this year. And besides this, I am really curious about Tip Top because they are going polyphonic in Eurorack, which is kind of special, as you know. And I heard the rumor that they invented kind of polyphonic patch cables, so definitely going to check this out.
That's been it for our trip to Berlin. By now you should already find more individual videos here on the channel going into detail, more in depth for the various highlights of the Superbooth. I guess that's it from our side for today. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Peace out.